StudyIQ IAS, आपका सिलेक्शन हमारा मिशन.
What I will do is, as we've done in the past, I'll request you to raise a sensitive question, and then those that want to raise a sensitive question may raise their electronic hand. I'll call their name out. They'll be unmuted, and then you can ask your question, and then we look at physical hands for response. Okay, so we have Neha. Please unmute yourself and you ask your question.
So my question is, are Maoists responsible for the penetration of left-wing extremism in tribal? Sorry, I'm so sorry, sir. Let me reframe it. Are tribals responsible for Maoist in penetration in left-wing extremist-prone areas?
Okay, are Maoists
Are tribals responsible for?
Okay, are tribals responsible for Maoist penetration in areas where they exist? Is that right?
Yes.
That's the question?
Yes.
Okay, so let's look at some physical hands to answer this question. Any physical hand here? Anyone raising a hand? Yeah, okay. We have Dhanush. I'm so glad, Dhanush. Nice to hear you. I don't think you've spoken in the past, but I'm so glad to get some new faces here. Yes, Dhanush, please go ahead. Unmute Dhanush and answer this question.
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah.
So, sir, so the tribals have been a base for Maoist movement in India, and main reason was due to the governance deficit from the government. Till 2001, we looked at the problem as a security problem, but after 2001, we started looking at it as a security come development approach. That is where the schemes like PM Janman and Rajgova schemes come into picture. And we are slowly seeing that the trend of tribals not supporting the left-wing extremism is also happening now.
Dhanush, you have answered a question that was not asked. So if I recall correctly, the question was, are tribals responsible for infiltration of Maoists in their areas? Was that the question, Neha?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you have not answered that question. Now, I'm mentioning this point to indicate to all of you, listen to the question very carefully. What you're saying is correct, but it is not the answer that has been sought, because that's where the trick lies. What you're saying is nothing sensitive about the question. What Neha is asking is a sensitive question where you have to know how to approach that answer. Anybody else volunteering to answer this question?
Sir, Vaibhav.
Vaibhav, yes. Vaibhav?
Sir, am I audible, sir?
You are audible, Vaibhav. Yes, please go ahead.
जी सर. सर, कुछ रिपोर्ट्स में ऐसा जरूर देखने को मिला है कि माओइस्ट के द्वारा जो लोकल ट्राइबल्स होते हैं उनका उपयोग किया जाता है एज अ शील्ड, और कई जगह उन्होंने उनको एक सेफ हार्बर भी प्रोवाइड किया है और इन्फॉर्मेशन भी देते हैं. परंतु सर, ओवरऑल क्योंकि ऐसे ट्राइबल्स जिनको मुख्यतः इस समस्या के बारे में डीपली पता नहीं होता, तो उनको डायरेक्टली हम रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं कह सकते, क्योंकि एक गवर्नेंस डेफिसिट है जिसके कारण एक असंतोष की भावना ट्राइबल्स के मन में रहती है. साथ ही ऐसे जो इंसर्जेंट ग्रुप्स होते हैं वो एक एज अ रॉबिनहुड भी काम करते हैं और ऐसे ट्राइबल्स को कुछ क्षणिक उनको सुविधा प्रदान करते हैं, जिसकी वजह से वो उनकी तरफ आकर्षित हो जाते हैं. तो इस दिशा में सर एक प्रॉपर अवेयरनेस की आवश्यकता है, और साथ ही जो पूरा करने के लिए टारगेटेड वे में उनके डेवलपमेंट की आवश्यकता है, जिससे ये जो पूरा एक नेक्सस है उसको हम दूर कर सकें. सर,
बहुत ही अच्छा उत्तर वैभव आपका, लेकिन दूसरा प्रश्न का जो आपने दूसरा पार्ट कहा है वो तो पूछा ही नहीं था हमने. देखिए आप लोग जरा, मैं आपको बार बार कह रहा हूं, आपने बात बिल्कुल सही, दूसरी बात भी, लेकिन क्या हमने आपसे पूछा था कि उनका क्या किया जाए? प्रश्न तो सिर्फ इतना था कि क्या वो रिस्पॉन्सिबल है. नहीं, आपने स्टार्ट में बिल्कुल सही एक्सप्लेन किया. उसके बाद आप समाधान क्यों दे रहे हैं समस्या का? मैं आप सब लोगों से इस बात को इसलिए कह रहा हूं, द रीजन व्हाई आई एम टेलिंग ऑल ऑफ यू इज you have to be focused. Don't say anything which is not asked. Is this understood? This is very
Okay,
very
sir.
important for you to understand, right?
Yes,
Don't say anything. That will be a natural question, second question. But they are also testing how focused you are, how attentive you are, because obviously what you're saying is absolutely correct. What the other gentleman said is also correct, but that was not the question. Do you get my point? All
Yes,
of you.
sir.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? See, to the board, you will not tell anything else except they ask. Okay, it's like, what is your name? So you will say, my name is Vaibhav. I come from Rourkela in Odisha. What? No, second part is not wrong. But did they ask you that? Don't ever answer anything beyond it. That will be a natural question. You know, your eagerness to convey your information, knowledge, and analysis is not correct. Because what happens, let me tell you, give you my experience as a civil servant for 38 years. We have civil servants who are eager to say things which are not there on the table. No. This is a very important point that you should all understand. Only answer what is asked. Naturally, they will ask you what needs to be done. Then that's what conversation is all about. Otherwise, तो आप पूरी नक्सल की हिस्ट्री समझा दीजिए वहां पर, माओइस्ट की हिस्ट्री समझा दीजिए. जो पूछा है उसी का उत्तर आप देंगे. Neha, are you okay now with the answer? Now,
Yes.
I'm glad you raised this issue, Neha, because this sort of a problem many aspirants face. They know so much that they want to tell that much. No, until you're asked to give you suggestions regarding solution of the problem. If you're only asked about the cause of the problem, why should you start talking about solution of the problem? There would be an obvious second question of how do you solve the problem. Then say what you have to say. Please, इसको आज इसके बाद कहीं नोट कर लीजिएगा आप लोग, और कॉन्शियसली इस बात का ध्यान रखिएगा कि आपको अपने ज्ञान का बखान नहीं करना है. That is another trait that they are looking at. Is she answering the question, the specific question that I've asked, or like कहते हैं घुमा घुमा के बात करें ना? Okay, good. So we go on to Vishwapriya. Vishwapriya, you can ask your question.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, Vishwapriya, you are.
Good evening, sir. Sir, the question that I was asked is because my first preference is the foreign service. So, if you are put in the place of the present High Commissioner in Bangladesh, how will you control the situation provided that there was an attempt to attack the residence of the High Commissioner?
Anybody attempting to answer this question? Any physical hand here? No, I'm glad. These two are very interesting questions. And then see what's here, a solution is being sought. I mean, Indian High Commissioner, if he had the solution would have been found. So there is no solution. There is no straight solution. So that's where the trick is. When you don't have a solution, how do you approach an answer? Okay, let's see if some of you, then I'll suggest what. I'm so glad again.
Sir,
Good,
Mukesh.
Mukesh. Yes, Mukesh. Wonderful. Mukesh, please go ahead.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mukesh.
Sir, my approach as High Commissioner in Bangladesh would be first collect all the facts in the ground and then communicate with the Foreign Ministry in India. And based on discussion with my seniors and Foreign Ministry in India, I would try to coordinate with Foreign Ministry in Bangladesh and try to resolve the issue.
Okay, so this is a very straight answer that you give, which anyone would get. You'll get average marks. Okay?
Yes.
Now listen to this carefully. If you have a good sense of humor, I would start by saying, I wish I were not in that situation. It's indeed a very tricky situation. Admit, there's no harm in admitting. It is indeed a tricky. No, this is what they're looking into you. That makes all the difference. Then say what you have to say. But sir, given the options, limited options, which I can see from this distance, this is what can be done. Then there would be somebody sitting from Foreign Ministry, he'll put in something. Yes, sir, you can agree with him. Sir, that can also be an option. But sir, I must confess that I could not visualize this. No harm. आप लोग हर चीज परफेक्ट देने के चक्कर में नंबर कम पा जाते हैं. They are not looking, see, situational questions में there are no perfect answers. It is how you answer that question that makes, that's why I keep saying structuring the answer. What the gentleman said was correct. That is what you should do. You should try ascertain all the facts. But how do you make in the opening gambit? What is your opening remark? That's what you should practice in next 7, 10, 15, 20 days. Let your friends ask you this question. Think of an opening remark. It's so important to attract the attention of the board. They will say, he or she is being realistic. Sir, it is indeed a tough situation. Start with, no harm in saying that. Sir, it is indeed a tough situation. But what I will try and do is this. Just reflect over what I'm saying. Very good 2 questions, because such questions will be asked of you. I mean, if they ask you, how do you have a solution for, suppose you are made Chief Secretary of Jammu and Kashmir, what will you do? Similar question. It's a tough question. I mean, if the answers were so easy, they would have been found out. But I think the answer given was correct. The opening remark could have been slightly different. Is that fine?
Yes.
Vishnu Priya? I mean, the answers were good. Answer was very good. What he said, that's how what. But I'm just suggesting that this is sort of a, that's the difference between 175 and 200 marks in interview. But you have to cultivate that.
Yes.
You know, I hope you are participating in group discussions, your WhatsApp group discussion. My suggestion to all of you is, now is the time to convert that WhatsApp group into a mock interview group. Not really a mock interview, but to test responses to the questions in the manner that I'm suggesting. Does that make any sense to you?
Yes.
Try and morph your WhatsApp group into mock interviews and let a person answer this question. The rest of you become the board. Huh? Okay. Deepansh. Deepansh, yeah. Please unmute yourself. Yes, Deepansh.
Good evening, sir. So my the question that was asked for me was this, that in the aftermath of Operation Sindoor, we saw that worldwide in the media, uh, Pakistani narrative got more traction in the world media. And also, overall in the world, we did not see any direct statements that were supporting the Indian action. And so, do you think that this is a foreign policy failure for India?
Okay. Another very interesting question. And you're coming up with very good questions. These could be asked. Of course, the board member will have to be daring enough to ask such a question, because he just might lose his job if he asks that question. But anyway, it's fine.
Okay, sir.
Anybody volunteering to answer this question? Any physical hand coming up? Akash, can you see any physical hand? भैया बाकी लोग भी अपना खोल लीजिए वीडियो. इतनी मिन्नत तो हम ऊपर वाले से करते, वो भी दर्शन दे देता. Why are you unfair to us?
Sir, Vishnu
बाकी
Priya.
लोग. Huh? Sorry?
Vishnu Priya, sir.
Vishnu Priya. Yes, Vishnu Priya. Yes.
Am I audible, sir?
You're audible, Vishnu Priya.
Sir, with respect to the observation regarding Operation Sindoor, I would slightly like to differ with the argument that was put forward. Sir, firstly, with respect to the social media traction that Pakistan got, India has been steadfast in busting the social media traction that was put forward by Pakistan. India had clarified in a transparent way the operation that was undertaken. Sir, and secondly, with respect to the second point that was made, the world leaders all over the world, for example, from the West and also India's close partners from Global South, had condemned the Pahalgam attack and had strongly come up in support in support of India's stance for no tolerance to terrorism. So this had in every way strengthened India's stand and fight against terrorism. So.
Okay, can you restructure the language a bit? What you say is correct. Okay. You can start by saying, sir, in my limited understanding of the situation, whatever I have understood of it, or what I have heard and read about it, it is, I beg to differ on this issue. Okay. And then make the statement that you are making. I beg to differ on this particular issue, because maybe they are provoking you to differ, and by you may not directly contradict it, but you indicate your limitations on the understanding of the situation, and then you say beg to differ, because India did clarify there were world leaders. You can name a couple of leaders if you can, and then that strengthens your point of view that they did it. Okay? Anybody else wanting to answer this question? Anybody, any physical hand here? Akash, can you see any physical hand?
No, sir. Don't
Yeah,
think.
I have. Very good. Vanshika. Excellent. Yes, Vanshika. I'm glad you are voluntary. You all should volunteer. आपको बोलेंगे नहीं तो कैसे काम चलेगा? And by the
Am
way,
I audible,
Anjana,
sir?
you are audible. Anjana, Anusha, आप लोग वीडियो क्यों नहीं खोल रहे भाई? हाँ, yes.
Sir, in my understanding, while in the immediate term it did seem that Pakistan won the war of narratives, but if we, with the privilege of hindsight, we can see now that that has not been the case. There are reports which suggest that Islamabad is in conversation with Washington to lease the Pasni port in Balochistan to the states. And Balochistan is such a sensitive area that any increasing foreign intervention would make matters worse for the leadership in Islamabad itself, sir. Besides that, sir, initially it did seem that most countries like Malaysia, Azerbaijan, they rallied behind Pakistan, and BRICS was also reluctant to call out the attack that happened in Pahalgam. But so later we noticed at the Tianjin meeting in China, where a statement was issued by the BRICS nations. And other than that, also, sir, as the previous speaker pointed out, many nations of the global South have supported India's case and have unequivocally called out terrorism. So I think, sir, with multilateralism and with our steadfast support for strategic autonomy, India is making gains on the war of narratives also now.
Excellent answer, Vanishka. 8 on 10. I hope others have listened to what Vanishka said. The reason is, see, she is substantiating the point that she's making with very specific examples. That's very important. In some of the cases, I mean, the comments that I get is the answers are vacuous in nature. It's not pure language. It has to be substantiated with something, what has actually happened, which I think Vanshika brings out beautifully, which in the present answer was also there. But as I mentioned even in that answer, be slightly more specific in making a statement rather than making a general statement. So it provides depth to your answer. Is that okay? Do you all agree with this? Right. We go to the next question. I'm jumping on because I want to take as many questions as possible. We could have some more discussion on this, but I think we'll take as many questions as we can. Rachna.
Good evening, sir. My question is, should India ban social media?
Okay. Any answers here? The question will be a bit more complex than this, but let's take this simple question. Should India ban social media? Any hands here? I don't see face of Himanshu, Satyam Kumar, Shivani, Vikram Sharma. Anyway.
Sir, Neha.
Neha. Yes, Neha.
So banning social media is a question which is raised because of the possible public harm it could cause and the issues of disinformation and misinformation campaigns propelled by social media. However, in India, we are the champions of free speech, and banning any media would be a strike violation of constitutional fundamental rights. So instead of totally putting a ban on a media which is not only a medium of exchange but also necessity as being seen in various governance as well as in social life, we should actually aim towards regulating it such that misuses are reduced and its benefits are increased many folds.
Neha, if everything goes fine, I'll be surprised if you get anything less than 180. I'll be very surprised because your articulation is good, your poise is correct, the way you come through is good. So keep it that way. Keep practicing it that way. No one can stop you from getting less than. I mean, I will be very surprised if it's more than 100. It should be much more than that. Keep it that way. Anybody else wanting to add to this or have a different answer? Any hands here?
Sir, Dipansh.
Dipansh. Yes, Dipansh.
Sir, actually, my answer was a little bit different because I thought it from a perspective of banning social media for kids.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Don't have to
Yes,
justify, just answer.
So, sir, I believe social media comes with a lot of problems, and we are seeing in society that children are facing isolation and mental health illnesses, because of which countries like Australia has banned it for children below 16 years of age. However, along with it, it is also a medium of social connection and a lot of educational channels and information is also spread through it. So banning it completely wouldn't be an accurate option. Rather than we can regulate social media so much so that content that is not as per age of the children is not shown to them. We can use techniques like the YouTube Kids into and have various social media platforms adopt that, like Instagram Kids could happen, so that we can regulate it better.
Good. What's his name? Divyansh, yeah?
Yes, sir.
See, one suggestion to all of you. While discussing the pros and cons of any situation, it is advisable to start with pros, the positive part first. Again, it doesn't make much of a difference, but it can, because it reflects your positive approach to things. So, as was answered by the speaker before you, Neha, she had similar arguments, but she started with positive part first and then the negative part later, and then brought out a balance between the two. Both answers are good, but if I have to compare the two of you, probably she's notch above you. Reason being, she starts on a positive frame. This is a very important attribute of a civil servant, which I think the board wants to gauge. How does he start? What is the first reaction of a civil servant when he gets an input? Is it a positive response or a negative response, and then balancing it? Some people may not consider it at all. But my contention, if I am sitting on the board, I will look at the person who thinks positive first. What is the immediate reaction of a civil servant when he gets a situation? A positive one. And then he balances it with something others. So just give it a thought, and a thought to all of you. Yes, Himanshu.
Namaste, sir. Sir, I
Namaste. Yes.
On the same thing, I have a general tendency to say the first thing which I'm not going to agree with. For example, if I am going to say let's ban social media, then I'll first begin with the pros of it, put in 2-3 words, and then say, but 1, 2, 3, 4, and hence we should not. So, your recent suggestion about putting pros first, is it something of a hard line, or is it?
No, it's not a hard line. See, you will gauge it yourself. That as you answer, that's why I don't know how many of you are following it, many of you are not. I tell you to raise and video record your own answers. There's no better judge than yourself. You will yourself discover how you are coming through. I mean, sometimes even making a negative statement, you come positively. It's very difficult to draw a line and say you should do this and don't do that. These are not mathematical calculations. So you can start with the negative, but depending on the nature of the question. Here, as was responded by the second speaker, I thought it gave a bit of a negative tilt. You can start with the negative, but the tone would be such that you are coming to a positive part. Now, these are very subtle things which the board recognizes. So it's not a hard and fast rule that you should first speak the positive, but it becomes easy for you to convey a positive vibe, as it were, to the board by starting positive. No hard and fast rule, Himanshu. If you're comfortable with first being critical of it, please go ahead and do it.
Sir,
But
second question.
again, it would depend on how do you open your sentence. Not many of us work on the opening sentence. It's critical. It attracts the attention of the audience, your first sentence, and then you build on it. Your second question, Himanshu?
These are, I have two more. Since we said recently about that is indeed a tricky situation, sir. I hope I
It's 9:30.
I had a very good question from a panel member in a mock at StudyIQ. Sir,
Yeah.
naturally from my mouth, the words came out. That is indeed a good question, sir. And then there was a giggle in the room, and the panel member was like, "Oh, thank you so much, because I asked such a good question." I thought he was being sarcastic because he felt as if,
Yeah.
"Are you going to tell me whether I asked a
Yeah.
good question?" You know that.
Avoid it if you can. Avoid it if you can.
So
If it happens, doesn't matter. Don't let this not live in your mind.
Ji.
If it happens, it's okay. Try and avoid it. If it happens, I keep telling, now remember this very clearly. Don't live in your failures.
Ji.
Don't live in your mistakes. I committed this error in the first year. I lived in my error and mistake, and I couldn't even answer questions which I knew. Try not to do it. But if you have committed that mistake, don't just forget it.
Sir, a
Move
very
on.
similar thing happened. There was a very long question by a panelist, again at StudyIQ only, like very long question. So when I was answering it, I was referring to the part of the question and then answering, referring to the part and then answering. In the feedback, they said ki you don't need to repeat my words. You are an engineer. We expect cut, 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 cut. And I was like, I was being nice by,
Don't
referencing.
worry. You did the right thing. If it's a long question, reference becomes important for you as well as other members. I think you did the right thing. If it's a short question, you don't have to keep. But if it's a long question, you have to indicate what you are answering.
Ji.
So you didn't do anything wrong. So don't worry on that front. Okay.
Last question. What was the first question in this Zoom meet about the tribals? If with a decent context, would it be right to say at the end, key tribals themselves are a victim of Maoist movement, and it would be harsh to say that they are responsible for it?
आप इसको reword कर दिए तो मजा आ जाएगा इसमें. See, again, I keep telling all of you, how should you word it? है ना? Sir, perhaps it may not be wrong to say that tribals are themselves victim of this. You made a submission. Period. You just made a submission. See, why I ask you to practice these words is not that they convey a different meaning. What it does is it conveys your humility and how realistically you are looking at things. So you have to practice this. Sir, if I am permitted to say, sir, I think tribal themselves are a victim of Maoist. So you're just concluding it that way. You can't imagine. It makes a difference of 5 to 10 marks straight away. मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ 10 मार्क आपको एडिशनल मिल गए सेंटेंस से. बट इसकी थोड़ी प्रैक्टिस. मैं आप लोगों को बार बार कह रहा हूँ प्रैक्टिस 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 एवरीथिंग प्रैक्टिस. Some of you listen, some of you don't listen. But if you listen and practice as much as you can, and your WhatsApp groups, your reading editorial article aloud, your discussion with others, next few days, and some of you are still spending time in library. I mean, I'm shocked. अभी वो मुझे कहता है सर जरा बात कर लें आपसे डिस्कस करना. मैं फोन करता हूँ कहता फोन नहीं उठा पाया. क्या कर लेते हैं लाइब्रेरी में. अरे भाई मेरे लाइब्रेरी को आप ठोक दीजिए. अब आपको लाइब्रेरी में जाने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. पूरी लाइब्रेरी तो आपको फोन में उपलब्ध है. क्यों जा रहे हैं आप लाइब्रेरी में? आप रिलैक्सेशन के लिए जा रहे हैं, बात अलग है. बट यू डोंट हैव टू गो टू लाइब्रेरी. यू हैव टू स्पीक एंड स्पीक. राइट? चलिए.
Thank you.
Okay. Rachna has a question here. Rachna, is that right? Please unmute.
Sir,
Rachna.
this was my question only. I have like another. So, sir, my
Yes,
main
Rachna.
doubt regarding such questions is that these questions are very open-ended. Like there are different contexts, and then for each context there is an explanation. So, sir, for example, in this question, how I would have started is that there are around the debate around banning social media has two sides, and then I would go on to listing that the intentions behind social media banning comes from the problems that are being caused, then I would mention 2-3 points, and then I would go to the point that why India should not go for a blanket ban, but other alternatives that we can practice to regulate it better. So, sir, but as you said, I would mention maybe the positive side first.
No,
And
let
then
us
go.
discuss a few minutes on the opening sentence that you'll make. So this question is asked: should social media be banned? So I would start by saying, sir, before we answer this question, let us understand the relevance of social media. That's my opening remark. Before coming to conclusion about whether it should be banned or not, let us understand the role that social media plays. So जैसे प्रस्तावना होती है ना हिंदी में इंट्रोडक्शन ऐसे का, वो हमने दे दिया 2 लाइन में. अब फिर आप जो चाहिए कहानी सुना दीजिए. This conveys that this man is thinking in a particular manner. एक उसने इंट्रोडक्शन दिया, because for arriving at conclusion in any issue like this, you have to understand the relevance of it. बट आप में से किसी ने इसकी प्रस्तावना नहीं दी. आप शुरू हो गए, ये फायदा है, ये नुकसान है, और वो तो है. बट यू हैव टू स्टार्ट बाय, आपसे कहते हैं कि कुछ भी हो, जैसे आप कहें कि लेट्स टेक अनदर एग्जांपल दैट bulldozers should be banned. I'm asking an absurd question. Bulldozers as they stand should be banned. Then I will again start and say, so let us try and understand the role of bulldozer. Without understanding the role of bulldozer, हम positive negative में कैसे जाएंगे भाई?
Yes.
When I say the role of the bulldozer, I will start obviously with positive. ये काम करता है bulldozer, है ना? या rewriting history, should Indian history be rewritten? Let's look at it this way. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I mean, this question could be asked. This is being discussed. Should Indian history be rewritten? Now, how do you start? You start with positives and negatives. So let us understand the relevance of history in the present day context. उसी context में तो आप बताएंगे कि ये कर रही है, ये नहीं कर रही है. ठीक है ना?
Yes.
I hope you are catching this phrase. This is very important in any sensitive question. Or when they are asking for a categorical reply, should this be done or not? There's no harm in saying, sir, let us examine, sir. Let us first examine what is the relevance, what is the utility, what is the futility, or whatever of that before you answer this question, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Neha, do you have another question? I see. Yeah.
So the question is, can UPSPA-like law or UPSPA be used to tackle left-wing extremism?
You are talking of the AFSPA.
Yes,
AFSPA.
AFSPA law can be used to tackle left-wing extremism.
Okay. As I said, we'll take any question that you want. Let's see you. How do you answer? Any volunteers to answer? Anyone?
Sir, Mukesh.
Mukesh, yes.
Yes, sir. My understanding about application of UPSPA is when the total reason is disturbed and law and order situation has broke down in the region and whole population is suffering through this. But I understand, as far as I can understand, in terms of left-wing extremism, the population or the people who are involved in this type of ideology are following guerrilla warfare or are operating from the in hidden way and not like whole population or whole region is disturbed due to this, but some part of the population is involved in this. So to tackle situation of Jammu and Kashmir or Northeast insurgency compared to left-wing extremism, both situations are different. And in controlling left-wing extremism, I think that Samadhana strategy is better than imposing UPSPA, because imposing UPSPA has resulted in various difficult situations also, as we have seen in Northeast.
Very good answer, Mukesh. Again, your opening sentence could have been slightly different. As I keep saying, the answer is very good. I think you explained it very well. that AFSA is when majority of the population is involved or disturbed, everyone gets impacted. In left-wing extremist states, there are only limited segment of people who are doing that. So why trouble others? Why bind others with such a draconian law? Okay, I think that's a good answer. Anybody else wanting to answer this question?
Sir Vaibhav.
Vaibhav, yes.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
You are audible, Vaibhav.
जी सर, अफस्पा का उपयोग मुख्यतः एक्सट्रीम सिचुएशंस में किया जाता है, परंतु अगर हम अभी लेफ्ट विंग एक्सट्रीमिज्म के प्रेजेंट कॉन्टेक्स्ट में देखें तो जो हमारा एग्जिस्टिंग मैकेनिज्म्स है, सेंट्रल एजेंसीज और लोकल पुलिस फोर्सेस, उन्होंने काफी उत्कृष्ट प्रदर्शन किया है, जिसका प्रतिफल हमें यह देखने को मिला है कि ऐसी सिचुएशंस, जो ऐसी घटनाएं होती थी, उनमें काफी कमी आई है। साथ ही कई ऐसे समूहों का आत्मसमर्पण भी हमें देखने को मिला है, और जो हमारी मार्च 2026 तक इसे खत्म करने के जो हमारी डेडलाइन है, हम उसके काफी निकट पहुंच गए हैं। तो जो हमारा एग्जिस्टिंग सिस्टम है सर, मेरे विचार से वो काफी अच्छा प्रदर्शन कर रहा है, और उसी से हम इस समस्या को टैकल कर ले जाएंगे।
देखिए, आपने भी ठीक उत्तर दिया, लेकिन आपने इसमें थोड़ा अपना ज्ञान आपने दर्शा दिया। आप इसको बेसिकली जो पिछला प्रश्न उत्तर दिया था कि अफसा का प्रमुख जो इम्पैक्ट होता है वो लार्जर पॉपुलेशन पर होता है, और यहाँ पे क्योंकि लिमिटेड पॉपुलेशन, ये इसका उत्तर है। बाकी आप उसके बाद ये कह सकते हैं कि क्योंकि एग्जिस्टिंग व्यवस्था से ही समाधान हो रहा है तो अफसा क्यों लाएं, लेकिन वो चीज सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है इसमें कि क्योंकि प्रश्न क्या है, प्रश्न ये है कि अफसा लगाया जाए ना लगाया जाए। ना लगाने से काम हो गया ये तो ठीक है, आपने अच्छी बात कही, लेकिन ना लगाने का कारण क्या है वो आपने उस पे, जैसे मुकेश ने बताया था, वो बताना बहुत जरूरी है कि अफसा अप्लाइज फॉर द एंटायर स्टेट in regions where majority of the people are considered to be a part of that movement, whereas in case of extremist case only certain segment of the population is। ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। फिर उसके बाद आप जस्टिफाई कर सकते हैं कि भाई बिना अफसा लगाए भी यहाँ समाधान हो रहा है तो अफसा लगाने की जरूरत क्या है, लेकिन वो कारण शुरू में देना बहुत जरूरी है। देखिए, आई एम टेलिंग ऑल दिस टू यू ऑल इज दैट यू मस्ट फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट टू आंसर द क्वेश्चन एज इट इज आस्क्ड। If you don't do that, then you would not have answered the question. What you're saying is correct. I keep saying that. In many cases, what you say is correct, but they not be the answer to the question that was asked, right? Any other observation on this? Any other hand? I can't see it. Yeah.
Sir, you suggested me to improve my opening remark. How could I have improved, sir?
The only improvement that you had to do was add what Mukesh said in the beginning. That's it. Because you have to start by saying why EFSA is not recommended here. And then you say what you have to say, that even without applying EFSA, we have been able to manage the situation. तो क्यों लगाएं उसको वहां पर? But that difference you have to bring about, right? I see no other hand, so I don't think we should carry on because, yeah, I have a hand here. Shivani? You have a question or you want to respond to this question? Please go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead. Unmute yourself. Shivani? Shivani Kumari.
Yes, sir. Sir, एक क्वेश्चन है मेरा।
जी बताइए।
सर, एक मॉक में मेरे से पूछा गया था कि आर्थिक सहायता और कूटनीतिक प्रयासों के बावजूद भारत अपने निकटवर्ती पड़ोस के प्रभाव बनाए रखने में क्यों संघर्ष कर रहा है। मतलब नेबरहुड फर्स्ट पॉलिसी से था कि हमारा जो नेबरहुड फर्स्ट पॉलिसीज है, हम इतना असिस्टेंस देते हैं, फिर भी कन्फ्लिक्ट बाकी सारे नेबर से हमारे बढ़ते जा रहा है, तो क्या किया जा सकता है और हमारी जो नेबरहुड फर्स्ट पॉलिसीज है वो कहीं फेल तो नहीं हो गई।
ओके, मैं इसको थोड़ा सिंप्लीफाई कर दूं प्रश्न को। प्रश्न ये है कि क्या भारत की नेबरहुड फर्स्ट पॉलिसी डिस्पाइट द फैक्ट कि इतना असिस्टेंस दे रहे हैं हम, वो फेल हो रही है? ठीक है ना शिवानी, इज दैट द राइट क्वेश्चन? ओके, I saw a hand from Vanishka. Is there any other hand coming here? Can I see? Vanishka के अलावा कोई और है? अच्छा, अनुषा आप बोल चुकी हैं। I see. I want others to speak. I mean, you've been doing well. You spoke well. If nobody else raises the hand, then we'll call out your name. Anybody else who has not spoken so far? वरुण नीचे देख रहे हैं, तो मैं तो वरुण से ही पूछूंगा उत्तर। आपने सोचा शक्ल नहीं थी। आप बड़ा बढ़िया है कि बाकी देखिए इन्होंने बड़ा बढ़िया कि हिमांशु ने, हर्ष कुमार ने इन्होंने कहा कि शक्ल ही मत दिखाओ, तो सर पूछेंगे कैसे क्वेश्चन। एनीवे चलिए हर्ष।
Sir, the neighborhood policy has given us diplomatic and structural challenge to establish better relation. There are short-term challenges, but the relation established through the policy has led to restoration of ties. If we look into the example of Maldives and the first visit of Sri Lankan president to India after taking oath. So, in my opinion, sir, neighborhood policy has been largely successful with some short-term challenges. Thank you.
इसको अगेन इफ यू कुड रीस्ट्रक्चर दिस आंसर अ बिट। सी मैं बार बार स्ट्रक्चरिंग की बात इसलिए कहता हूं कि सुनने वालों को ऐसा लगे कि एक चीज दूसरे में बह रही है, अनायास बह रही है। वो नहीं लगता। आपने कुछ यहां से पकड़ लिया, कुछ यहां से पकड़ लिया, दो एग्जांपल दे दिए, तो स्ट्रक्चरिंग की इशू आ रहा है। एनीबडी एल्स वांटिंग टू आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन? आई हैड somebody else had जिनको मैं, यस वनिष्का। Yes, Vanita, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, from what I understand, when in 2025, our neighborhood first policy did enter choppy waters. But I think by the end of the year, India made some gains. For example, as far as the negatives go, of course, there have been hiccups with Islamabad, with Beijing, with Dhaka. But what we also witnessed by the end of the year was New Delhi making adjustments with the BNP in Bangladesh. Similarly, there was a rebounds in relationship with Maldives. Indo-Bhutan relationship also stands strong. With Sri Lanka, we extended disaster relief, which Sri Lanka is very grateful for with the cyclone Ditwa. Therefore, sir, notwithstanding the hiccups that we witnessed, we see that New Delhi is displaying strategic restraint and proactiveness wherever required. And while neighborhood first policy did enter choppy waters in 2025, 2026 seems to be a better year for us.
वो लास्ट सेंटेंस में 26 आप क्यों ले आई? अभी तो हुआ ही नहीं है, 25 में ही कह देती एंड होप कर सकती थी 26 के लिए, बट अदरवाइज योर आंसर इज वेरी गुड। लास्ट सेंटेंस में ईयर्स का आपने कंफ्यूजन कर दिया, because everything has already happened in 25 and 26 we don't know what's going to happen, but I think it's a very balanced answer. Anybody else venturing to answer this question? I hope you're listening to what Vanshika is saying, because I mean, more than anybody else, I like the structuring of her answer, how she go about it. Anybody? Physical hand we are looking at for answers, not the electronic hand.
So
okay,
Satyam
physical
Neha.
hand. Yes, Satyam.
Namaste, sir.
हाँ,
Sir,
बताइए
my
सत्यम।
answer to this question is that, sir, one of the most important provision in our neighborhood first policy is not to interfere in our internal affairs of the state. Sir, it has been very challenging to maintain that, but we can see in our current past. For example, in our relationship with Maldives, we had to face India Out campaign there, but with new government, with new government which is currently there, we have again established a good relation with President Muizu. Then we have another example of Sri Lanka, where we have dehyphenated the Tamil issue, and we have established good relation with Sri Lankan government. Now we can also see how our approach is changing in case of Bangladesh. For example, yesterday only, our external affairs minister visited Bangladesh, attended the funeral ceremony of former prime minister of Bangladesh, and he also talked with the current chief of the acting chief of Bangladesh Nationalist Party. And of course, after the February election, if the government will be formed by Bangladesh Nationalist Party, we will have a good relations with that. So, sir, what we should try to do is that there should be relations with institutions, with the government, and we should stop taking sides.
ये भाई आपने लास्ट सेंटेंस क्यों जोड़ दिया? अच्छा खासा जवाब दे रहे थे आप। इसमें
Sir,
शुड तो
I should
पूछा ही नहीं
not
था।
have.
नहीं भाई देखिए,
Yes, sir.
आप
Yes, sir.
see, please, all of you listen to this very carefully. What was the question? Was the question
Sir,
what India should do?
yes.
This
No,
was not
sir.
asked.
No, sir.
Why are you answering that question? बात तब तक बहुत बढ़िया जा रहा था, सडनली आप शुड पे चले गए।
Sorry,
आप
sir. I
लोग
will
again,
take
no,
care
no,
of
don't be sorry. No, no, I mean, you don't have to be sorry. All of us commit such mistakes. I am repeatedly telling you, please limit your answer to the question that is asked. These are, आप लोग ये नोट कर लिया कीजिए, उसको रिफ्लेक्ट कीजिए आप लोग. I don't know, after the session gets over, my suggestion is reflect on what we said. My suggestion also to you is, पिछले जितने सेशंस हुए उनको जितनी बार देखिए, क्योंकि उसका उत्तर आप ही लोगों ने दिया, मैंने नहीं दिया है। आज इतने बढ़िया प्रश्नों के उत्तर आ रहे हैं जो वनिष्का दे रही हैं। माय सजेशन इज आप इसको सुनिए दोबारा। You know, we all learn from each other. That's the whole idea of WhatsApp group. That's the whole idea of discussion. I mean, I'm nobody to tell you what you should do. I'm an old man. I did it more than 40 years ago. You have to learn from each other. And such good answers have come today. Learn from that. My request to all of you and suggestion to you is, please watch this video again. Watch the previous videos again. Library, इधर-उधर जाइए मत. आप आपस में एक दूसरे जितना सीख सकिए सीखिए. बिल्कुल रिलैक्स रहिए, बिकॉज जवाब आपका बहुत अच्छा था, कहीं आप लास्ट में आके आपने पूंछ गलत लगा दी इसमें, अदरवाइज यू आंसर।
Sir, I have two more questions, sir. I have
अभी
two more questions.
अभी क्वेश्चन पे आता हूं। वी गो टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नाउ। यस सत्यम, यू कैन आस्क योर क्वेश्चन, प्लीज अनम्यूट सत्यम।
Sir, in one of the mock interview, I was asked the question that since I am from Bihar and there have been many examples of collapse of bridges, almost 9 bridges collapsed last year. So, sir, it was asked what is the reason behind it?
आपने क्या जवाब दिया?
Sir, I gave two answers to this. First answer, sir,
No,
there are the.
फिर सुनिए, आप लोग पहली चीज तो सुना ध्यान से कीजिए। आपसे मैंने क्या प्रश्न किया? मैंने कहा आपने क्या जवाब दिया? आपने मॉक में क्या जवाब दिया? तो वही दीजिए ना जवाब। आप दो क्यों दे रहे हैं? आपने मॉक में दो जवाब तो नहीं दिए होंगे, आपके दिमाग में दो उत्तर हैं। See, there is a reason why I keep interrupting and asking this. I want all you to focus on what is being asked. Be absolutely with me. What I'm asking, कि आपके दिमाग में कौन कौन से प्रश्न हैं? मैंने आपसे प्रश्न किया, what did you answer in the mock interview? You give that answer, and then we'll see what is the next one. Yes.
Yes, sir. So first reason is that the geography of Bihar. Bihar is regularly impacted by floods, and the river changes its course frequently. So that also impacts the construction of bridges. My second answer is that there are also some technical errors due to lack of coordination. For example, often contractors, they also do some mistakes. So that the coordination is also a problem which leads to faults in the construction of bridges. So, sir, these are my two answers.
Now, listen to this, what I'm going to tell you. Again, structuring of the answer. How would I structure that answer? I would say, sir, I have not examined this issue at length, being a non-technical person. Sir, but whatever I've read about it, जो आपने ज्ञान दिया वो दे दीजिए उसके बाद। इससे आप बचे रहेंगे।
Yes, sir.
वरना वो पूछेगा कि आपको कैसे मालूम कि रिवर इधर जाती है, उधर जाती है, क्या जाती है? आपने सुना है, पढ़ा, वो बता दे रहे हैं आप। आपको इंजीनियर है, आपका बैकग्राउंड सिविल इंजीनियर है आप?
No, sir, I have done political science honors.
बस तो खत्म हो गया, आप बच गए, आप बच जाएंगे। आप बिल्कुल कहेंगे कि इसकी वजह से, रिवर की वजह से है और ये वजह है। ये कहां से आपको ज्ञान प्राप्त हुआ? आपने नहीं तो पढ़ा बड़ा होगा ना?
Yes, sir.
Now, mind you, if anyone of you, just hold on. If anyone of you is a civil engineer from Bihar, you cannot get away with the answer that I'm suggesting now. You understand this point? But a man from political science can get away with that answer. If you're a civil engineer from Bihar, you jolly well have a more in-depth answer to this question. Not this one. Okay, let me get somebody else to answer this question. व्हाट डू यू थिंक आर द रीजंस फॉर ब्रिजेस कोलैप्सिंग इन बिहार? क्योंकि जो रिवर इधर उधर होती है तो हर स्टेट में होती है इधर उधर, खाली बिहार में जाके इधर उधर थोड़ी ना हो जाती है। यूपी में सीधी चलती है, बिहार में टेढ़ी हो जाती है, फिर वेस्ट बंगाल में जाके फिर सीधी हो जाती है। तो वहां ब्रिज क्यों नहीं गिरते? तो ये टेढ़ा मेढ़ा होने वाला तो कोई, और मानसून खाली बिहार में आता नहीं है, यूपी में भी आता है और वेस्ट बंगाल में भी आता है, वहां क्यों नहीं गिरते? तो आपने जो कारण बताया वो बिहार के लिए यूनिक तो है नहीं, हर जगह वही होता है। मैं आई एम जस्ट डोंट वरी अबाउट व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज दिस कुड बी द काउंटर आर्ग्यूमेंट से। अगर मैं बोर्ड में होता तो मैं पूछता ये आप जो बता रहे हैं ये तो यूपी में भी होता है, वेस्ट बंगाल में होता है, वहां क्यों नहीं करते? फिर आपने उस एस्पेक्ट को सोचा ही नहीं अभी। अगर आप टेक्निकल बात से अपने को बचा लेते तब आप समझ जाते, कहते आपने टेक्निकल देखा ही नहीं है भाई। दे वुड सर्टेनली बी टेक्निकल रीजंस भाई। I am also not conversant, but I'm sure there would be technical reasons which are being overlooked at this point in time. So Zara School, all of you should start reflecting, talking, reflect, talk. शीशे के सामने, वीडियो के सामने बोलिए, खूब जितना बोलिए उतना अच्छा होगा. Okay, any volunteers to answer this question? Harsh, yes, please go ahead.
Sir, first of all, I am a civil engineer and I am also from Bihar.
Excellent. I'm so glad you volunteered. Good answer.
Yes, sir. Sir, bridges are a sensitive sensitive infrastructure. So there is a chance of collapse, and we have seen collapse all over the world. Having said that, if we look into the issue of Bihar, because of alluvial and clay soil, which requires sensitive design and extra care in the workmanship, it enhances the probability of failure, which may have led to the situation, sir.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. बट आप वो भी बात कहिए जो पहले उन्होंने कही थी कि ये भी हो सकता है, लेकिन मेरी लिमिटेड अंडरस्टैंडिंग या माय अंडरस्टैंडिंग सिविल इंजीनियर इज दैट दिस कुड पॉसिबली बी द रीजन. यू कांट से आपने मे शब्द इस्तेमाल कर लिया, उससे आप बच गए, वरना ऐसा होता कि आपने जजमेंट पास कर दिया. गुड यू यूज द वर्ड मे, इट मे हैव कॉज्ड. आई थिंक दैट्स अ गुड आंसर. ओके, वी गो ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नाउ. आई होप Satyam Kumar is satisfied with this answer. Satyam, are you okay? Nod your head will be fine. I can't hear you. Anyway, let's go to the next question, which we have from Shivani Kumari.
सर, एक आईआर से ही रिलेटेड मेरा क्वेश्चन था कि शुड इंडिया प्ले अ मीडिएटरी रोल इन द रशिया यूक्रेन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट?
Okay, let's try and answer this question. Should India play a reconciliatory role in Ukraine-Russia conflict? Any volunteers to answer this question? Any volunteers? Akash, can you see any hand?
Sir.
Okay.
None so far, sir.
Okay, let me ask Anshuman Gupta to answer this question.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन में लिमिटेड अंडरस्टैंडिंग को लेकर मैं देखता हूं कि इंडिया को इंडिया एज अ मीडिएटरी रोल एज अ नहीं करना चाहिए. जो अभी वो चल रहे हैं सिक्योरिटी मीटिंग्स, पीस टॉक्स, उसके हिसाब से इंडिया सॉरी सर, अभी इस पर रिसर्च नहीं.
कोई बात नहीं. आप देखिए, आपको ये एक मौका मिलता है. मैंने आपका नाम इसलिए लिया कि आप हाथ नहीं उठाते. आप कोशिश कीजिए बोलने. देखिए, मैं आप सब लोगों से ये अनुरोध कर रहा हूं कि आपकी झिझक दूर कैसे होगी जब आप बोलेंगे. और गलत बोलने को नुकसान नहीं है, आप एडमिट करेंगे फिर सुधारेंगे उसमें, लेकिन आप चुप रहेंगे तब काम नहीं चलेगा. आपने यहाँ ज्वाइन किया, हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं. हर व्यक्ति की कुछ ना कुछ समस्याएं होती हैं, आपकी भी हैं. तो आप इससे परेशान ना होइए कि आप उत्तर नहीं दे पाए. इस पर सोचिएगा अपना, फिर से प्रश्न कीजिएगा और ये प्रयास कीजिए कि जो हमने व्यवस्था बताई है आपको कि व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में आप पार्टिसिपेट करें, सुबह संपादकीय लेख को पढ़ें, ये जरूर करें. अगर आप ये नहीं कर रहे हैं तो अपना नुकसान कर रहे हैं. सबके लिए लागू है, मैं कह रहा हूं. एनी अदर हैंड? कोई और हाथ इसको उत्तर देने के लिए? नेहा, आप तो इतना बोलती है। चलिए, आई एम सो ग्लैड वी हैव न्यू नेम्स।
वरुण।
ओके, लेट्स हैव सत्यम कुमार।
Sir, promoting international peace is one of the most important aspect of our foreign policy. So if we can play a mediatory role between Russia and Ukraine, so we must do it. It will also increase our role. It will also portray our role as a global leader in the world.
ओके, दूसरा एक हाथ था। ओके, आई एम सीइंग देयर में रचना है आपका ना? रचना, रचना।
So far, India has maintained the stance that this is not an era or for war, and both the countries should resolve the issue via dialogue and communication. So India should keep that stance and strive and push for reconciliation between the two sides. However, we have to keep in mind that our primary loyalties lie with Russia because of the long-standing special and strategic relations that we have with them. So maintaining a neutral stance while promoting international peace should be our attempt.
एक बात सोचिए आप इस बात को, आई एम लीविंग इट एज अ थॉट टू यू ऑल। कैन यू मीडिएट इफ यू आर नॉट इनवाइटेड टू मीडिएट? आप ये सब बात करिए, उसके बाद एंड में जवाब जरूर दीजिए उस प्रश्न का, शुड इंडिया मीडिएट। आपके प्रश्न में जो रचना ने कहा है, आपने सबने कहा है कि you know it should play that role, but it can only play that role provided both the parties are agreeing to have India as a mediator. वो जैसे अदरवाइज तो ट्रम्प हो जाएगा, वो कहते हैं हमने इंडिया के जो है पाकिस्तान की लड़ाई बंद करा दी, हमने पूछा ही नहीं आप हैं काम का घुसे हुए आप। So this point should also be brought in somehow, that India can and probably will play a role provided the two parties are willing to treat India as mediator. आप वैसे थोड़ी ना घुस जाएंगे उसमें, और आपकी ओपोजिशन में नहीं है ट्रम्प लाइक कि आप दोनों को पुश कर सकें। एंड व्हाई शुड इंडिया पुश? इंडिया शुड नॉट पुश। सो जस्ट कीप दैट इन माइंड एज यू आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन। ओके, राइट, वी गो टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, दोज दैट हैव नॉट कम एज येट। दीपांश, नो, वी विल हैव अ लॉन्गर सेशन इफ इट्स ऑलराइट। अगर आप लोगों में से किसी को लेट हो रहा हो तो यू कैन गो, आई विल हैंग ऑन टिल आई हैव taken those questions because I don't know when next we'll have this session. Yes, Dipansh.
Yes, sir. My second question is that suppose you are an administrator and you give suggestions to the minister, but the minister does not take your advice and rather wants you to implement a suboptimal advice. What would you do?
इन प्रश्नों का उत्तर मेरी पुस्तक में तो है, एथिकल डिलेमास ऑफ सिविल सर्वेंट। This is a very practical situation which could be asked of any one of you. Okay, let me see how does one answer this question.
Puru.
I see a hand there. Yes, Harsh has spoken before. Any new hand we have?
Sir,
I'll come back to
Puru Dubey.
Puru Dubey, yes.
Good evening, sir. Sir, it totally depends upon the situation. If the advice being referred by the minister is something that is illegal, then I have to refuse because that is beyond my capacity. But if it is something that I have to choose between two ethical options and the minister has mandated me to choose what he has advised, then of course, since he is the political representative of the public and I am bound by his advice, then I'll have to do what he says.
10 on 10. आपको तो, आप उस दिन मुझसे मिले भी थे, आपने पिछले इंटरव्यू के नंबर बताया तो मुझे विश्वास ही नहीं होता है, बोर्ड गलत था। मैं बोर्ड को कम नंबर दे दूंगा। I mean, this is not the first time that you're responding so well, so precise, to the point, and no one can deny this. It's so well presented. Again, I'll be very surprised if you don't get good marks. I mean, I usually am not wrong, but I may go wrong if you luck is really bad. But excellent answer. I hope the person who asked this question, you understand what he said. This is important because such a question can be asked of any one of you. If Because in the question, it is not given whether the decision taken is illegal or not. So, Uru has very correctly qualified that if it is illegal, I'll be constrained not to carry it out. But if it is a legal question and only question of ethical choices, then I'll go by the minister's directive. As simple as that. And many of you will become civil servant. Remember what Uru has said today. Do that and you'll have a safe and a successful career as a civil servant. I'm telling you with personal experience. Not merely getting into civil service, as a successful civil servant. If you follow this philosophy, very politely tell him if it's illegal that you can't do it and take the consequences. In the long run, it will benefit you. And if there's nothing, either law is silent or is the gray area, then your communication skills will come to the fore to convince him what he's saying is not good in the interest of the organization. But if he still overrules you, you do what he's saying. Right? You may be asked a question, as there's a subordinate under you and your boss asks you to transfer him, what will you do? Similar question. He's authorized. His order is not illegal, but it is your job to see that the team does not get demoralized. So you will try and explain to him that these are the likely consequences. If he still overrules you, go ahead. I'm telling you this because in the first part of my career, 10 years, I used to fight with everyone. I used to tell them what I am saying is right. If you want to transfer this officer, transfer me also. So I became a martyr. There's so many martyrs here, no? You also get transferred. But it doesn't serve the purpose. So I think what Uru says is absolutely correct. It could be asked in any form from any one of you. Okay. We have Swarup.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
My question is whether bulldozer justice is the right way to bring law and order in a
भाई
state.
मेरे आप लोग क्या करते हो कि एक सेशन अटेंड करते हो, फिर करते नहीं हो, फिर वही प्रश्न को दोबारा पूछ लेते हो. आपने पिछले सेशंस देखे हैं हमारे?
No,
देखिए
sorry, sir. Sure.
भाई आपको देखिए, सॉरी ना कहो भैया मेरे, आप सबका टाइम क्यों वेस्ट करते हो? जो हम आपसे कहते हैं सुन लिया करो यार, थोड़ी बहुत सुन लोगे आपका फायदा होगा. मैं सबसे कह रहा हूँ, आप
Sure,
सुनते
sir.
ही नहीं हो, अपनी ही सुनाते हो. सिर्फ बार बार मैसेज कर रहे हैं भाई ये पिछले वाले सेशन से इनको देख लो, आप नहीं देखोगे, फिर वही प्रश्न कर दोगे. What is the good name? No, don't have to be sorry, Saurabh. हम जो आपको बता रहे हैं आपके हित में बता रहे हैं. इट इज योर ओन. आप ना देखते हो, आप फिर ये कहोगे सीता किसकी मैया थी. कहाँ, कब तक समझाते रहेंगे भाई ये हैं? आप नहीं मानोगे तो आपको कैसे नंबर मिलेगा? इसका मतलब आपने बाकी चीजें भी नहीं देखी होंगी उसमें जो हमने कहा अपने को इम्प्रूव करने के लिए. क्या आप सिर्फ आपने प्रश्न ठोक दिया मुझे यहाँ पर, है ना? देखो भैया इस सब खूब बुलडोजर डिस्कस हुआ अच्छी तरह. Right.
Sure, sir.
Will you have a question? Yes. Puru Dubey. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I had a question. So, given that there is rise of strongman politics around the world, do you think that democracy around the world is in danger?
Who would answer it better than you yourself? Answer this question. I can't think of anybody else answering better than you. Come on, answer this question.
Sir, democracy, it will be difficult for me to say that democracy is in danger, but it is showing some visible signs of stress, given that there has been rise of some populist leaders who have subverted rules of law in their own countries. And this shows the inherent tendencies or the challenges that democracy is facing around the world. But I see not this not as a danger, but as an inherent mechanism of democracy, of how it refines and reimagines itself. There have been phases in the history also where rise of populist leaders like Hitler and Mussolini in countries like Germany and Italy respectively have subverted democracies, but this is how democracy reinvents itself and how politics further renews the energy and the chasm of democracy.
I couldn't have come up with a better answer. So you know the answer. But I'm glad you asked this question and answered this question for the benefit of others who are there in the group. I can't think of a better answer. So well done. And my suggestion to all of you, as Puru does, come up with these questions, come up with answers. Come up with these questions, come up with answers. Mentally, then speak it out. Let it become a second nature as is become in case of Puru, that it has become his second nature to come up with very reasonable answers to questions which may appear to be tricky. Okay, so we take the last two questions if I can. Satyam Kumar, you've already asked a question. So has Anusha, but let's go. Anusha. And then we'll take, I think, Mohammed.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, Anusha.
Sir, I was asked this question that we are seeing a trend where young officers and not so young officers, they are forming a maverick band against legislative and they are against legislative as such. So do you think this is a healthy trend?
I don't understand your question. What have they formed?
Maverick band.
Is it? I mean, you'll have to explain this to me. I don't know. I'm not even aware.
Sir, like opposing it very vehemently, opposing the legislative, like forming in groups.
Is it?
I don't know, sir. I was asked
No,
this question
I don't.
very good.
I mean, it's factually incorrect, actually. They may personally oppose it, but there's no group formation. I don't think. This will not be, I mean, I can't understand this question because this is not happening. Having been part of bureaucracy 38 years, पिछले 6 महीने में कुछ हुआ तो मैं कह नहीं सकता. But I don't think that's a question. Okay, let's have Mohammed.
Good evening, sir.
Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Am I audible to you, sir?
You are audible. Please go ahead.
Sir, I'm not sure if this is a sensitive question. I just want to understand if, suppose at the end of the interview, if the board asks if you have any particular questions for us, how should we go about it?
Sir, I'm thankful to you for having given me time. I have no questions to ask of you. Khatam?
Okay.
Well, that's
So because I've heard some say that please prepare a few questions if they ask something of that sort.
No, they may ask you a question if you want us to ask you any question. They will ask you this question.
Okay. Okay.
They can ask you this question. Would you want us to ask you any specific questions? You can still again say, no, sir, thank you very much.
Okay.
If they insist, ask any question, so ask any question. That doesn't matter then.
Okay.
Any question that comes to your mind at that point in time, don't prepare. Let it be spontaneous. You know, if you can practice, all of you, your response will become spontaneous. That's very important. It will flow naturally, as we saw in case of Puru, as we saw in case of Vanshika. Spontaneous response. It does not appear that they're exerting themselves to answer that question. So that's the key. So if you prepare everything, it will, you know, if you practice, whatever comes your way or comes out of your mouth is naturally flowing. Okay. Now I still see hands. Now we have actually run out of time. We overshot by 12 minutes. So if you all feel that another session is required, I don't mind taking another session because this is something which I can do traveling. Right now I'm sitting in very warm climes of Goa. So I have no problem. I'll take another session. But if you so feel strongly about having another session, mention it in the group and we'll have another round of, I mean, I enjoy it because I also learn a few things like just now, Anusha told me about a new thing. I'll try and discover what is this. I don't know as yet. But as you are smiling, keep smiling. Don't get tension in your mind. You all have done well to come to this distance. Just relax. Take it easy. Go out with your friends. But talk as much as you can. And please, for heaven's sake, read the messages in the group that we send to you. There's a lot of effort that we are putting in. I mean, I keep saying that it may be coming free to you, but we are putting a lot of effort to get you through civil service. The least courtesy that you can show is at least see the messages and follow the suggestions that are given. I feel pained when you don't do what we ask you to do and then you come here and ask me a question which has already been answered. It pains me because it appears that you don't care. It's like any mock interview. I see people running from one mock interview to another. This is not what we do here at StudyIQ is not the type of guidance that is usually given. There's a lot of effort that goes into it, a lot of groundwork that happens. We are making a lot of effort to make you succeed. So we expect a bit of response from you. Okay? So take care. God bless you. And feel free to reach out to me. I have spoken to everyone who's messaged me and I've lost the count. So in case you still feel that you want to have a chat with me, one-on-one online, one-on-one offline, please free to reach out to us. I shall be available to you, but you'll have to bear with me. The timing will have to be mine. Okay? Good night. Take care. God bless you.
StudyIQ IAS, आपका सिलेक्शन हमारा मिशन।